I'm Rachel Bennett, 36, and until last June, I owned a seaside cottage in Bar Harbor, Maine, left to me by my grandfather, Henry. That was before my parents sold it behind my back to fund my brother Caleb's lavish $200,000 engagement party. At the party they toasted, "To Rachel for making this possible," laughing as if I'd willingly sacrificed my inheritance. They didn't know the storm I'd unleash. If you're reading this, comment where you're from and subscribe for stories of family betrayal that might inspire you to stand your ground. The cottage, a 2-bedroom haven with weathered shingles and a cliffside view of the Atlantic, was my refuge. Growing up in Portland, I spent summers there with Grandpa Henry, learning to sail, sketching driftwood, and listening to his tales of lobstering in the 1950s. "This place holds your soul, Rachel," he'd say, his gray eyes crinkling. "It's yours to keep alive." When he passed 3 years ago at 89, his will named me sole owner, bypassing my parents, Paul and Diane, and my brother Caleb. The lawyer, Mr. Tate, was clear. "Henry wanted you to have it to preserve its heart." I'm a graphic designer, and I poured my savings into restoring the cottage. New roof, updated wiring, a garden of sea roses like Grandpa's. My parents seemed fine with the will at first. "It's yours, Rachel," Dad said, though Mom's smile was thin. I missed their resentment, too wrapped in grief and plans for the cottage's future. Maybe a summer art studio for local kids. Caleb, 33, a real estate agent with a flashy lifestyle, never cared for the cottage. He'd complain about the damp, the isolation, preferring city clubs to coastal quiet. Our parents doted on him, his charm, his deals, his fiancée, Lauren, a lawyer from a wealthy family. They paid for his car, his condo deposit, but told me to stand on my own when I needed help after a freelance dry spell. When Caleb got engaged, Mom gushed over Lauren's 5-carat ring and their plans for a yacht party. I offered to design invitations, but Caleb hired a pro, brushing me off. I kept working on the cottage, driving up weekends to paint shutters and fix the porch. Mr. Tate confirmed the deed was mine alone, despite Mom's hints it was family property. Then in June, I arrived to find a moving van and strangers unloading modern furniture. "I'm Rachel Bennett," I said, heart pounding. "This is my cottage." The couple, Tom and Ellen Reed, looked confused. "We bought it last week," Tom said, showing papers with my forged signature next to my parents'. I called Dad, shaking. "There are people in my cottage saying they own it." A long pause. "We sold it, Rachel," he said. "Caleb's party costs a fortune. We'll talk after." I drove to their Portland home, fury rising. "You forged my signature?" I demanded. Mom fidgeted. "It's for family, Rachel. Caleb's engagement matters." Dad added, "The cottage sold for $280,000. You'll get $30,000 after expenses." I stared, betrayed. "It's worth $400,000. You stole my inheritance." Caleb arrived, dismissive. "You barely use it. Lauren's family expects a big event." I left vowing, "This isn't over." That night, I called my cousin Emily, a paralegal who'd always seen our parents' favoritism. "They've always chosen Caleb," she said. "I'll help." She connected me with Lisa Harper, a property lawyer. I showed Lisa the will, deed, and sale documents. "Fraud and forgery," she said. "We can reverse this. The Reeds will lose the cottage but can reclaim their money from your parents." I nodded. "I'm ready." Lisa suggested exposing my parents at Caleb's engagement party, a public reckoning. I gathered evidence, photos of my cottage improvements, a handwriting expert's report proving the forgery, and Grandpa's letter. "Rachel, keep the cottage safe. You understand its soul." Emily helped me access bank records showing my parents had spent $150,000 on the party, with $130,000 left. The party was on a yacht, glittering with lights and champagne. I arrived uninvited, in jeans among tuxes. Caleb, Lauren, and my parents glowed with pride. As Dad toasted, "To Rachel's generosity." I stood, projecting photos of the cottage and forged documents onto a screen. "They sold my inheritance without consent," I said, voice steady. "This party is funded by theft." Gasps rose. Mom stammered, "We meant to tell you." Caleb snapped, "You're jealous." Emily stood by me. "It's fraud." My Uncle James, usually neutral, said, Paul, explain this. They couldn't. The lawsuit moved fast. Lisa sent letters to my parents and the Reeds, demanding the sales reversal. My parents offered $60,000 to drop it. Insulting, I told Lisa. Push forward. Family split. Some called me selfish. Others, like Emily, supported me. Anonymous texts arrived. Your right to fight. They've always favored Caleb. At the hearing, Lisa presented the will, deed, expert testimony, and Grandpa's letter. My parents admitted forging my signature, claiming it was for family. The judge, stern, wasn't swayed. Fraud is not a family value. The ruling came a week later. The sale was voided, the cottage returned to me. My parents were ordered to repay the Reeds $280,000 plus $20,000 in damages to me. They'd need a loan, maybe sell assets. Caleb's party became a scandal. Lauren's family distanced themselves. The Reeds moved out, gracious despite their loss. We loved it here, Ellen said, handing me the keys. Keep it special. I repainted the cottage, restored Grandpa's lobster traps as decor, and planted roses. Emily visited saying, Grandpa would be proud. I started therapy to process the betrayal, learning to value myself beyond family approval. 8 months later, I hosted a barbecue at the cottage for friends and supportive relatives. Laughter filled the air as we sailed and ate by the sea. My colleague Sam said, You fought for more than a house. I nodded. It's about my worth. My parents and Caleb haven't apologized. Mom sends guilt-tripping texts. Caleb silent. I wrote them, offering honest talk, not reconciliation on their terms. They haven't replied, but I'm at peace. The cottage is mine, and so is my strength. As Grandpa said, the sea teaches you to stand firm. I raise a glass to that.